Davey, how you doing?
About as good as can be expected.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Corcoran Entertainment Show. I don't know what happened to my voice there. I'm your host, Frankie Corcoran. Happy Thursday to everybody out there. Hope everybody's having a good week, good start to their 2026. It is anybody in the Miramichi and surrounding areas, just be sure to take precaution. Lots of snow, lots of cold. Dress warm. Be careful shoveling. Be careful walking. It's very icy. Yeah, that's pretty much, there's not really much going on aside from just we're trying to survive the winter. That's pretty much all that we can do at this time. Thank you guys, as always, for tuning in. It's a small little podcast, but you guys listening will always, give us a little bit of a confidence boost. So I appreciate it. And if you like the episode and you want to see more like this, be sure to like us, review us, rate us, whatever the case may be. And so wherever you listen to it, of course, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. I will, of course, as always, include the link in our episode description for Rock and River Fest. Tickets are going quickly for the big concert. Brett Kissel, Amelia Underhill, Amber Walls, and Signal Hill for July 25th. We really encourage everyone to get their tickets now. And I know that it's fairly far away. And you guys are probably thinking, I'm not sure what I'm going to be doing around then. This is something that Miramichi, you're not going to want to miss. It's going to be a fantastic show, and I am just really looking forward to a big day. Everyone behind the scenes is working hard to make it happen, and the committee and all that stuff. So just be sure to come on out and support some amazing local and Canadian talent from near and far. In case you guys were confused by what that was in the intro, some of you who play Grand Theft Auto 5 will recognize that as the infamous meme that is going on TikTok. If you don't know what I mean, just type in Davey GTA 5 and you'll know exactly what it is. And so in the studio today, actually, no, not in the studio. It was done on Zoom. I have Davey himself. Julian Gamble is our guest today. Very excited to have him on here. He is, as I mentioned, Dave Norton on Grand Theft Auto 5. And he's also been in a multitude of other projects, House of Cards, Gotham, The Good Wife. He even did a little thing on Matlock as well, too. And was just super honored to have him on as a guest today for this Thursday. And amazing interview. Great guy. Had a blast chatting with him. So be sure to go follow him on social media and all that stuff. Keep up to date with all the amazing things he does. So without further ado, guys, just sit back, relax, and enjoy the podcast today. All right. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Corcoran Entertainment Show. I am your host, Frankie Corcoran, and today I'm joined by a multi-talented actor, voice actor, who he has appeared in numerous projects over the years: Gotham, Law and Order, and Matlock, you name it. Just check out his IMDb. But for any of you gamers out there, Grand Theft Auto 5 players, you will recognize his voice as FIB agent Dave Norton. Davey, those memes that are always on TikTok. Very excited to have him on here today. Julian Gamble. Julian, how are you today?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you for coming out to the show. And first off, I just want to ask you, I just mentioned that Grand Theft Auto 5 meme, the Davey. Do you know what I'm talking about with that?
No.
Oh, you don't know about that? Okay, so so there's the mission in Grand Theft Auto 5 where Michael's going to meet Dave at the the observatory or the FIB headquarters, and there's basically all these memes of Michael just crashing into him and blowing things up, and then it just cuts to the cutscene where he's just, Davey, how are you? Like it's really funny. If you go on TikTok and type in like Davey GTA 5, like it's everywhere. So as soon as I told My brother, he played Grand Theft Auto 5 as well. I told him that I was talking to you today, and he said, "Oh, it's Davey, that guy." Because Grand Theft Auto has become such, obviously it's huge, probably one of, if not the biggest video game franchise out there. Was there anything that came from the game's success and your role in it that really kind of took you by surprise? Like, obviously, with Grand Theft Auto, we kind of expect, because, as I said, it's such a worldwide phenomenon. What kind of really surprised you about sort of the fame, I guess you could say, from the game success?
I had never done one of those things before, and I had never actually still, Rockstar. If you're listening, it's uh, this is the truth. I've never played that game, so I don't know what happens in it. I've seen some cutscenes, and my son, who was of an age when the game came out, would call me and tell me about all his adventures with me driving across Los Angeles doing whatever it is we were doing. But I really was not conscious of me and the game, or it being an important thing, until my wife, who designed a web page for me, would type in me into Google so she could see where it was coming up. And the first thing that comes up, even now, is Grand Theft Auto. So I'm pleased by that. But I don't I don't know if I have a perspective on it because I'm not a gamer. So it's pleasant, and I'm happy to know that there are memes of me out there. But and I see Ned Luke and Stephen Ogg and Solo are always going to conventions and stuff, and they're posting things. But it's all. I have read some of their posts that where people are saying, "Well, where's Davey? Where's Dave?"
Oh, that's so good. That must make you feel great, though, does it?
Yeah, yeah, because it was such a different kind of a job. In the first place, it took 2 years to do, not every day, obviously, but I was there sometimes for 2 or 3 months at a time, and then they'd shut down because they'd have to redo their tech and da da da. And then I'd be back for a couple of weeks, and then I'd be gone, and then I'd come back. Ned and those guys were there the whole time. But and you have to come in, you have to put on the suits, the suits with the sensors on them. It was totally bizarre, and you walk into this room that's empty with sort of little chairs and things that designate whatever it is that's going on around you. I mean, for people who do motion capture all the time, I'm sure they know exactly what this is. But I had never dealt with it or seen it, and it was fascinating because they had just gotten into the part where they wanted actors instead of just sort of robotic people or non-professional. They wanted professionals. And so it was interesting working with them that way to get a real sense of things, because a lot, none of it is spontaneous dialogue. It's all written, and they are very specific that you got to say it this way, you got to do this. And so that was sort of an interesting way of working, because there was a lot of rehearsal because you can't go outside the lines. There are a whole bunch of crazy motion capture rules. But it was a fascinating job. And then it was like most any job in show business, it's sort of like it's over. And then I just kind of forgot about it. I did read that they made some ridiculous amount of money in the first 2 weeks when it came out, but that's all. That was the only impact it had on me at the time.
Yet, like, insane success. I think it was just recently surpassed by Red Dead Redemption 2, but still the fact that Grand Theft Auto 5 for so long held that record, and it's still so big too. I mean, of course, we have Grand Theft Auto 6 coming out as well too, and like the trailers get like millions and millions of views. It's at like probably like 300 million views right now. The Grand Theft Auto 6 trailer, like it's absolutely insane when you really look at it. And then for someone like you to kind of take a step back and go, I did a voice on that. Like for you, like I mean, not being a gamer yourself, for you, it must have just been like I'm just going in to just do my job basically. I mean, like, do you kind of go into a lot of roles like that where you don't really maybe not necessarily with a gaming, but even like TV shows where you're on a show like Gotham, do you kind of treat it almost as if it's just like, okay, this is a job, and then once you see all of the success from it, it still doesn't really maybe not register, but it just kind of just feels like, no, I just went and did my job. That's all it was. Like, is that kind of the feeling that you have?
Yeah, I mean, because you're not, a lot of the jobs that you're talking about are, you're there for a day or maybe a week. So you're not really part of this familial unit that is a television show or a movie, because those guys are with each other all the time and they're bonded and they have jokes and you know what I mean? So you're not really part of that family. They're welcoming sometimes and sometimes they're not, but it's more like, okay, I'm here to do this and I'm here to make sure I don't cost them any money. So it's more, not to take away from the creative part of it at all, but it's just, you have a function and make sure you exercise the function. That's sort of what it is for me.
Yeah, and like it's you probably kind of just become maybe a little bit desensitized to it after a certain point where it's just you're an actor doing your thing, and you're just going from job to job. Like it's sometimes you probably don't even really get the chance to really register because obviously, yes, you're giving it your all with the gig that you're currently working, but then you're also in your mind preparing for, okay, I have to get to this location here, get on my train or plane or whatever the case may be and go to this next job that I'm doing. Like you know, a career that kind of takes you in multiple different directions, and sometimes you don't even have the time to really register sometimes just because of the nature of it. How would you describe like maybe some of the pros and cons of being an actor, which is such a difficult job as it is? Just going from job to job. I'm kind of curious to see what's your experience kind of been like going from job to job and really just making sure that you're able to make your living, like making sure that your family's all taken care of and things like that. How have you kind of managed all of that, ensuring that I'm gonna make this work, but just make sure that I'm still able to look after myself and my family? How'd you kind of go through it?
Well, I tell you, I was always very lucky about work, and I'm not being self-effacing there. It's true. When I first started, I was 23 years old, and I met at the Dallas Shakespeare Festival a very important director who said, you should come to New York. So I came to New York, and he got me a job at the Denver Center Theater Company, and they had which was a major regional theater in the 1980s. And they had a bunch of important directors from other regional theaters working there. And so I was able just to go from there. Just from being in Denver, I was able to go to Arizona. I was able to go to the Old Globe in San Diego. I was able to go to the Inman in Seattle. I was able to go to the McCarter Theater in New Jersey, all from this one sort of job in Dallas. And so that kept me working, which was very unusual for people. It kept me moving all over the place. And I got to see a lot of the country, which is, when you're talking about positives, that's one of the biggest positives there were for me, is that I got to be in almost every major city in the United States sooner or later. But after that, I decided, I want to go and be in LA for a while and see what that's like. And when I got there, I just happened into a meeting with a very good commercial agent. I started making commercials. I started working on soap operas. I did a lot of episodic television, and then I got tired of being in Los Angeles, and I just sort of worked my way back across the country. I went to the Alabama Shakespeare Festival for a couple of years, and then I went up to New York City, and a good friend of mine had a very good agent, and said, "Would you like to meet?" And we did, and we set it up, and then from there I worked on Broadway, and I did a lot of regional plays at Yale and around, and then I just started. I got into a lot of episodic television work, and then I was recurring on several series, and that's where they knew me from Grand Theft Auto. That's those guys had seen me on television, and they thought I would be right for that part. So that's kind of the story of my career is right that.
This episode of the Corcoran Entertainment Show is brought to you by Holy Hydrogen. Okay, guys, let's be real. We all try our best to stay hydrated, right? But not all water is created equal. That's where Holy Hydrogen comes in. They've got this awesome device called the Lourdes Hydrofix Premium Edition, and it takes clean water to the next level by infusing it with molecular energy. That means you're not just drinking water. You're giving your body extra support with every sip. Better energy, less inflammation, and a real boost to your immune system. So try the Lourdes Hydrofix Premium Edition today by going to shop.holyhydrogen.com/Corcoran and use the promo code Corcoran for $100 off your purchase. Again, that's shop.holyhydrogen.com/Corcoran and use the promo code Corcoran at checkout. Stay hydrated and stay healthy. The Corcoran Entertainment Show is brought to you by Podmatch, the ultimate platform designed to connect podcast hosts with prospective guests effortlessly. Are you a podcaster looking to elevate your show to new heights? Or perhaps you're a guest hoping to share your story with a broader audience. Whatever your podcasting goals are, we have the perfect solution for you. Podmatch simplifies the entire process of discovering guests for your show or finding podcasts to feature your expertise. Now imagine a platform where you can easily match with like-minded creators tailored specifically to your niche. With Podmatch, you can effortlessly network with influencers and thought leaders, all while staying true to your podcast vision. There are a multitude of ways that Podmatch can help you grow your brand. You can be part of a thriving community of podcasters and potential guests. Engage, collaborate, and grow together. If you're ready to experience these fantastic benefits for yourself, we invite you to join Podmatch today. Head over to www.joinpodmatch.com/Corcoran Entertainment and sign up right now for only $6 a month. That's right, you heard me right, $6 a month. Join the Podmatch family today and watch your podcast soar to new altitudes. Thank you for tuning into the Corcoran Entertainment Show, and happy podcasting. You've been very lucky, really. I mean, how would you describe? Because a lot of the entertainment world and working in it. It's always great to hear different perspectives from different people who say that it's a mixture of luck and it's just a mixture of not giving up and just keep on going. Like, how would you kind of describe, does it lean more so towards on being lucky, or does it lean more so towards on just keeping your work ethic?
Well, I think it's both. And I will tell you that when I went to Southern Methodist University for a little bit. And when I was there, they had a film festival, and Gregory Peck was the guest lecturer. He was showing some of his film. He was showing To Kill a Mockingbird, and I think Horatio Hornblower, something like that. And people were doing a Q&A with it. And one of the acting students asked him, everybody tells you how difficult it is to have a career in show business, how hard it is. And, it just seems like it's a rock you have to keep pushing up the mountain. What would you say to that? And he said, well, if you keep yourself ready, you will always get an opportunity. And it's what you make of that opportunity, which I always which I took to heart then, and I think is true now. I mean, yes, there's a certain amount of being in the right place at the right time with the right people. That's all luck. But you have to be prepared to do the work. So it's, like I said, I think it's a little bit of both.
It's really interesting to see multiple different perspectives of it, because you have some people saying that, oh, it's just luck came across, and then someone said no, luck didn't have nothing to do with it. It's really interesting to hear kind of both that way. But I mean, really, it's just making sure that you're able to support yourself at the end of the day, and and make sure that, okay, like I want to pursue this, but it's kind of slow right now. I need to pick up a job just to pay my
Right.
bills, pay my rent and all that stuff, pay my mortgage, whatever the case may be. So it becomes, it requires some sacrifice for sure too, I think. And I think a lot of the greatest success stories come from people who were just in completely different places in their life, like such as like Harrison Ford being a carpenter when he was 30 years old, 30, 40 years old, and didn't get his big break till he was like 40, 50. And so when did you realize that you wanted to do acting? Is it something, it was always in the cards for you? This is always something that you wanted to do, or did you have your mind set on something else and then you were kind of steered into pursuing the arts? Like, how did that kind of come about?
No, I just always wanted to do it. It was something I felt that I was innately good at. And I mean, there's still a lot of stuff to learn and stuff, but I felt that I liked telling the story. And from that, it just, everything just sort of fell into place for me. But that was really it. I honestly have no other skills. So, this is what I wanted to do. And fortunately, I was able to do it.
And you've been very successful in it, and it's fantastic to see, and it's really awesome. um Doing all kinds of different styles of acting. I mean, like you said, like you were on Broadway and you've done, movies, TV, video games as well too. What would you say is probably the one that, it's always interesting when you have someone who's done like just theater. They've always been into theater, and then they get a part as a or like in a film or a movie or TV show, and all of a sudden it's this different type of acting that they're like, oh my god, I should just stick to the stage, or some people vice versa. It's, I should stick to screen acting, not stage acting. Like, it's a very different. Did you kind of have one that you preferred over the other, or have you kind of just taken all the skills that you've learned from all of them and you just, it's just kind of first come first serve? If a job comes up in theater first, I'll take that. If a job comes up in video games, I'll take that. Like, how'd you kind of go about that?
Well, when I started, I was almost exclusively doing plays. And then when I went to Los Angeles, there's other kinds of work there. So I wasn't sure, and people used to tell me when I was first in things, first doing little bits in TV shows, tone it down, tone it down. You don't have to be so loud. We can catch you. But I learned from a second AD, and I can't remember what television show it was, that always asked the camera people how you look. The guy actually was behind the machine, not the DP or anything, but the camera operator. Just say, how am I looking? Don't do that. If you stay here, and they'll help you. They're there to help you. It was really sort of this aha moment. And ever since then, I always talk to the camera guys. I would say, like, can I do this? Can I, what do you think about this? And, they'll, make sure the director's not listening and go, well, yeah, you can do that or not. But that always helped me. And the video game stuff was just, that's that's throwing yourself at the wall. That's just nutty stuff all the time because it's kind of like a melodrama, you know. It's so heightened that, hey, you, blah, 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 I know in the game I say, don't do that, go back that way, whatever it is. But, I mean, they had me in a sound booth just doing those little, whatever it is I'm telling players to do for a good day of just, no, get out, and so that, there was all that stuff. I mean, it sounds awfully loud to me. No, we want it loud. We want it loud. So if that makes any sense at all.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Because like, even for me, just talking right now, I talk loud, but it's just me talking. I talk to like my parents and they're like, you don't have to shout. I'm right next to you. I'm like, oh, I just can't help it. And then even like if I'm doing a show or something like that and and the director will be like, okay, just maybe lower just a little bit. I'm like, oh, sorry. I didn't even realize how loud I was talking. Sometimes people just have it in them that they just talk loud. They talk naturally loud. And it's just a matter of finding that the right volume and then sticking with it. And then sometimes it gets hard to manage it sometimes. But I really like what you were talking about when it came to voice acting, which, I mean, that's a huge difference. Was that your first voice acting role, Dave Norton?
Yeah.
Wow. That's fantastic. So how did you get the part? Like, what was, did you audition for? Did they offer it? Like, what was the process like?
No, I just auditioned for it.
Wow. Oh, there. So it was just like that. Like, it was just one that came up. And then as soon as, was it one of those parts where because, being your first voice acting role, was it just you wanted to try something different? Like, how did that all kind of come about?
I have, let me see. I'm trying to cast my mind back in time. I think I had just finished work on a show called Delocated that used to be on Adult Swim that I had been on for a couple of years. And my agent called me up and they said, do you know anything about Rockstar, which is the game company? And I said, no, I don't know what that is. And he said, well, they want to see you for this role. And I said, oh, okay, sure. So I just assumed, I didn't know quite what it was, whether it was the voice of it. Nobody had said anything about motion capture. So I went in, they had a rehearsal, they had a regular audition space in one of the places in New York. And I went in and auditioned for the role. And then they started explaining to me what it entailed. And I said, well, okay, sure, that sounds fine. And then they said, okay, we'll just go ahead and read the scenes. And they taped them and they showed them to the director. And I think they called me within a week and said, okay, you start on this date. And I said, okay, great. And so, like I said, it was off and on for 2 years. And I did, I was working in the city almost exclusively then. So there wasn't any problem with that. And they would always make it. If I had something else I was shooting, they would accommodate me for that. On it went.
Wow. And then here we are now, and it's still people are still, I mean, as I mentioned, that Davey, that meme, it's like literally always on like Facebook Reels or anything. I'm always scrolling through and I laugh so hard every time I see it. They get so ridiculous. It's one of those things that you'll have to check it out on social media for sure. It's just one of those ones, it gets increasingly ridiculous to the point I'm just like, I'm still laughing my ass off. Like, it's just absolutely crazy what people are doing with it, and still the success of it, and people are still talking about it to this day. And it's really interesting when to kind of I was watching an interview that was back when the game came out. It was the three characters. It was, of course, Michael Trevor Franklin, Stephen Ogg, Ned Luke, and Solo.
Right.
I can remember Sean. What's his last name? I can't remember his last name.
Can't remember.
Franklin. Shout out if you're listening to this. So I think it was Ned Luke was saying that he didn't want to do a video game. He was just like, he had no interest in it. And then it's one of those things that had he not done it, who knows how different the parts could have been. You know what I mean? Like it's really crazy when you look at some roles. Like, has there ever been a part maybe that you've auditioned for or maybe turned down, and then you watch that and go, yeah, that could have been me. Could I have done that? Maybe I could have. Like, have you ever had those thoughts about any of the roles that you auditioned for?
No, I mean, not really. I mean, sometimes I'll look at something and go, oh, they went a really different way there, didn't they? Or, oh yeah, no, I wouldn't have been right for that. But I don't think of it like that. Um, it's so I was thinking about that actually not too long ago about just the the shape that it has to take, that casting has to take with you have to get like-minded people together, in a play, especially, if you do play, so you know that if somebody's wrong, you know it right from the beginning. And I guess it transfers to television. That there's in movies, yes, it's how you look, but it's also your sort of attitude in being in the room with them. Like if you're whatever, if you're too aggressive or too this, I think you know what I'm trying to say. But I think of no, I never, in answer to my lengthy answer to your very simple question. No, I can't remember looking at something and going, oh, well, I could have done that a lot better. I'm always interested in how other people do it. I love to see people I know in plays, because then I go, oh wow, I wouldn't have thought of that. That's in a positive.
No, exactly. And people can really surprise you, especially when you're so used to seeing them in one role. Like I remember, kind of talking about like Stephen Ogg,
Mhm.
when he was cast in The Walking Dead, and all the comments were just people were calling his character Trevor on The Walking Dead. Had nothing to do with GTA. It was just, oh, that's the guy who plays Trevor. And so there's all these like theory videos. Well, I think Trevor is gonna kill so and so. It's like, his name's not Trevor. Like it's crazy. And then by the end of his character's run, I see Trevor on GTA. I'm like, oh, that's Simon from Walking Dead. Do you have many people nowadays who still come up to you and say, oh, I love the game and everything like that? Like, how often do you get stopped on the street, or is it just one of those things that that they don't even realize sometimes? Like, how is it for you?
Uh, I don't think I've ever been recognized for that game.
Really?
Yeah, because he doesn't really, the character doesn't look like me. I mean, it's sort of me,
But
but
the voice
it
is pretty.
yeah, but I mean, just walking around, people used to recognize me. I was on a show called Third Watch, and people used to recognize me from that. And when I was doing House of Cards, people would recognize me from that. But I'm not. I'm more the kind of guy who sits across from you at a bar and you kind of look and you go, I've seen it someplace before. I don't know. It just looks like somebody else. That's it. Nobody really knows. Nobody ever really recognizes me. Unless, I used to belong to a golf club up here. I did a commercial for Mayhem, the insurance company. And it was always playing for like 2 or 3 years, played and played and played. And people, oh, you're on TV. Other than that, yeah.
No, it's interesting because yeah, there are some voice actors that sometimes they can pick out their voice in a crowd, see that person, and go, "Oh, I saw you doing an interview on this podcast or this TV show or whatever." And then there's some people that they won't even know until you start talking, and then they're like, "Yeah, who are you again?" And then you go, "Oh, like Dave Norton from GTA 5." And they're like, "Oh shit, yeah, it is you." So there's some people who are like that, but uh, something I'll ask you just because I know anytime we have a new GTA game coming out, there's always questions who's going to be in it, and whether you are or not, and can't say, that's okay. Have you been contacted at all for GTA 6 at all, or haven't heard anything, or what's the status? Are we going to see more Dave Norton in the future?
I don't know. I don't. They haven't let me know that if it's happened.
Rockstar's on the other end of this call going, don't say anything, Julian. Don't say no. No, that's always the big one. Every time there's always a new GTA game, they're always asking, "Are you in it? Are you in it?" And then they're just like, "No, I'm not in it." And then when they're not in it, they're like, "Why weren't you in it?" It's like, "No, I said I wasn't in it." Like because the fans are so passionate about this franchise, and I think that can sometimes be a good or bad thing. Like there's some fans who are real passionate to the point that they analyze or they overanalyze everything. Like you look at some of the trailers of GTA 6, and they're literally. I saw one person. He was literally looking at the color of one of the characters' shirts and was comparing it to, oh, this is when the next trailer is going to come out because the color of his shirt represents this. And I'm thinking, like, my God, like, is that sad or is that dedication? Like, how would you describe that?
I don't know how I would. That's a little frightening. I mean,
It's kind of scary.
working for these guys, they are. It's like working for the CIA or MI5 or something. I mean, it is super secret stuff. You have to sign NDAs uh, that are pages long, and you can't. I mean, not that you could. There is no way because you don't get a whole. There's no whole script that doesn't exist. Only bits of it. So you don't know what's happening. So when I say I don't know really what happens in the game, I really don't know because I haven't played it. I know what happens, I sort of remember certain scenes uh, and things, but it's so secret that even sometimes I think, well, was I in that, or are you sure that's me? I don't know.
You're like,
There,
did my character die in the game? Like,
yeah, and so I asked my child, I said, do I die? And he said, no, you're fine at the end. So if they're bringing me back, they haven't told me.
oh, okay, right on. Well, I'll keep my fingers crossed because I was a fan. It was kind of funny that I would see some people saying, "Oh no, Dave's character is the reason why Michael and Trevor are at odds," and this and that, blah 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 blah. Like you have people who, it's always a good thing when you can get them torn on both sides of the fence. Like you understand where Michael's coming from, you understand where Trevor's coming from, you see where Dave's coming from, where he's just doing what Michael wanted. Like it's a whole big, and that's also just a testament to the writers as well too for making such a great story. And you're forever part of this world now. You know what I mean? Like you're forever part of it. And people will still play GTA 5 even when GTA 6 comes out. But so people will still see that, and I'm sure the Davey memes will still live on for a long time. And so kind of wrapping up here. First off, like it was amazing to get the chance to talk with you. But if you were to kind of give, if there's anybody here listening who wants to pursue the arts in any way, shape, or form, whether it's voice acting, whatever the case may be, what piece of advice would you give to them?
Uh, just keep your head up, and it's harder now than it was when it was reasonably hard, which is when I started, which is the 1970s, because we don't know what's on the other side of all of this stuff, all of the AI stuff, all of the platforming stuff. It seems like there's more work, but there may not be. We don't know. So uh, be prepared to do any and all of it. Don't limit yourself in terms of, oh, I only do this or I only do that. And just believe, like Gregory Peck said to me, or to a room full of people in which I was included all those years ago, there are still opportunities and you just have to be ready when they show up.
Yep, and that's it. And then keep an eye out for the opportunities for sure. Because if you say anybody who says, "Yeah, I'm keeping up to date with all the stuff that's going on," like all the casting calls or whatever, and then they post numerous casting calls, and you just don't look at them. You just forget to check your Facebook. It's like, well, be sure to keep an eye out for that because the opportunities can just be there in a second and be gone. It's like buying a house. You see a house you like online, you go to view it, and then boom, it's gone. That's just kind of how it goes sometimes. You got to be quick. So, Julian, this was fantastic, man. This is really great. Thank you so much for taking the time to come on. Where could people find you on social media, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, all that stuff?
I'm so terrible at all that stuff, but I do have a website, which is juliangamble.com, I believe. And you can just, I don't, I'm kind of hopeless. I don't, I'm not constantly posting things, but, I'm on Facebook at Julian Gamble and, certainly on Instagram at the same. So, if you want to reach out and say hi to Dave, please do so, and I'll say hi back.
He's so much like Dave. He's just very secretive. Like he's just like, he's trying to cover his tracks and everything. Like, he's
terrible. It took me, 15 years to get a reel together.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I was just like, oh, you need one of those? Oh, okay.
It's one of those things that you don't really think about sometimes, and then they ask you for it, and you're like, "Oh shit, I don't have that." It's like, "Oh crap, I should get that." Or if someone asks you, "Well, I just need your, car insurance number or whatever," you're like, "Wait, I don't have car insurance." Like it's, so some of those things you don't think yet, but you probably should have. Car insurance probably more important than acting, but still. Julian, thank you so much for taking the time to come on. Hope you're having a safe, happy winter. How's the weather where you are right now?
Well, it's probably not as cold as where you are, but I am in upstate New York, so it's close. Let's just say close to you.
Close. It's -9 where I am right now, so
that's Celsius, right?
Yeah. So we're getting by.
Yeah, we're probably 21 Fahrenheit today.
Okay, so can't wait for the winter to just kind of pass. It's actually snowing right now as we speak, so I'm actually glad that our connection kept up for as long as it did. Julian, yeah, thank you so much for taking the time, guys. Thank you for listening to the Corcoran Entertainment Show today. We will see you guys in the next episode, but until then, this is Frankie and Julian Gamble signing off. Cheers, man.
Thank you.